All right, guys, enjoy day 21, Pilates Flow. Okay, so I want you to come and grab a seat on your mat. And we're just going to have the knees and feet slightly apart. If you want to put any kind of padding underneath your hips so that you're sitting up nice and tall, you can. If you want to take your feet a little bit wider apart so that your hips don't pinch, you can. And then just cross your arms one on top of the other, on top of your knees. And then just bring your head down so that you are resting your forehead on your arms. Make any adjustments that you need to, but automatically you should be in an easy curve of your spine. Relaxing neck and shoulders as much as you can. And feel free to close your eyes if that feels good for you. And just start to notice the back of your body. Noticing as you breathe in and out that there's a natural opening and widening of the rib cage and then a closing of the rib cage as you exhale. And 60% of our lungs sit towards the back of the ribs here. So this is quite a lovely position to access that wide breath in and out. To really take advantage of that full inhale, filling the lungs, and that full exhale as you squeeze the lungs empty. And oftentimes we talk about the lungs and the heart as we breathe. And today I just want you to bring your awareness to some muscles that line the rib cage called the intercostal muscles. So that every time you breathe in and out, those intercostal muscles get a little bit of a stretch and a lift. And every time they draw the ribs closed, there can be a little contraction. So they are quite important muscles for us being able to move our rib cage. And bringing your awareness to the diaphragm. And the diaphragm sits at the bottom of the rib cage. And it actually runs down and connects into the lumbar vertebra. It actually attaches onto the same connective tissue that our hip flexors do, our iliopsoas. So our breathing has this wonderful ripple effect into helping release the lower back and the hips. Taking one more breath in and out. And then take your time as you unravel your spine, hooking your hands just around the front of the knees, allowing your gaze to softly come forward. Lengthening up as you pull on your knees a little bit. And then exhale as you curl the spine. Start rolling back until your elbows are straight and you can almost feel that you're hanging off your arms and knees. Breathing into that stretch between the shoulder blades. And then exhale, bend the elbows and assist yourself as you come all the way up to lengthen the spine again. And again, exhale, draw the tailbone under. Feel that you're pulling your belly away from your thighs. Hang there for a moment. Take a breath in. Exhale. Pull. Lifting all the way up. Lifting tall. One more time. Exhale. Draw the tail under. Leaning back into the stretch. Take a breath in. Exhale. Pull with your arms as you come all the way up. And lifting nice and tall. Bend your left knee and bring that foot just in front of you. Bend your right knee, bringing the right foot in front of that, and again, sit on something if it feels good for you. You're going to place your right fingertips to the ground. You're going to turn your head and look towards the left, and then tilt your chin down towards your armpits, and then move your head around until you feel a little bit of a stretch down the right side of the neck here. These are the upper trapezius muscles, the levator scapular muscles. And if you want to add a little bit of a fascial release, you can almost do like a little shaking of the head. Tiny little shaking of the head and making sure that you're breathing. And then bring your head back to the center. Bring your head up. Bring both hands all the way up towards the sky. And then exhale to bring the hands forward and stretching all the way over. Now, depending on how flexible you are, you might only be here with your hands on the floor. That's fine. Just relax into it. Some of you are really flexible and can put your heads on the floor. Okay? So settle into it. And find a little bit of softness again through the spine. And right now, with your right foot at the front, you may very well feel a little bit of an extra stretch around the right hip. Just direct your breath and your focus into that right hip and see if you can soften with each exhale. And again, this is the power of our breath. We don't even have to do anything else. We don't have to force it. Our breathing facilitates creating space. Notice the shift that is taking place. And when you're ready, start walking your hands backwards towards you as you come all the way upright, lifting up nice and tall, and then just separate your knees and your feet again, placing your hands on the front of your knees, and again, use your arms to help you. Exhale, curl back, just to a place where you can hang off your knees. Stay here this time to close your eyes, and notice right now the difference between your right side body and your left side body. Notice your neck after we did the neck stretch. Notice your hips after we did that hip release. Open your eyes, take a breath. Exhale, bend your elbows, pull yourself all the way up to sit up nice and tall. This time, bring your right foot to the front. Then, bring your left foot in front of that. Put your left fingertips to the ground. Turn your head towards the right shoulder. Tilt your chin down. And again, figure out your head placement on the side so that you feel a stretch on the left side of your neck. And then your choice, you can stay here and breathe, or you can add a tiny, tiny shaking of the head to get that little bit of fascial release. Getting that slide and glide happening. Very, very gentle, small movements. And pause. Take your time as you bring your head up. Bring your head back to the center, bringing both hands all the way up, long stretch, and then bring your hands down and forward. And once again, coming into the stretch that works for your body. So by the way, anybody with knee issues here, if you're feeling that this is straining the knees, feel free to put like a little cushion or a pad underneath the hip because that holds the leg in position so it's not straining. And again, this time, notice how there's a slight increased stretch on the left hip. Let your breathing soften and release. Notice how your body starts to ease into this position. Maybe you can shift a little deeper. Taking one more breath in and out. Exhale, walk your hands all the way back up, sitting upright. Unfold your legs, placing your feet down again, holding onto the fronts of your knees, lifting up nice and tall. One more time, rolling back onto hanging off your arms, and it doesn't matter if your toes lift up, by the way. Close your eyes and observe. Bring your awareness to your left side. Notice your neck and shoulders, notice your hips. Take a breath, open eyes. Exhale, bend your elbows and pull forward, and then lift up nice and tall. Take your arms out, breathing in. Exhale, let's go all the way down onto our backs, all the way down with control. Help yourself as much as you need to, and let the arms settle down. So you can either bring your hips a little closer to your feet, or you can bring your feet a little closer towards your pelvis. And make sure that you've got no support right now underneath your head. Remove it if it's there. Going up into a pelvic curl. Breathing out as you tilt your hips, rolling up into your bridge position. Pause at the top. Double check that you can feel the gluteals doing their job. Don't let your lower back take over. And then we ripple down through the spine. Feel that imprint into the lower back. And then allow the pelvis to settle at the bottom. Make any adjustments if you need to your position. And again, exhale, tilting hips, rolling up, feeling that lovely squeeze from the base of the pelvis here. And then ripple down through the spine. Feel the imprint into the back. And release. Let's take one more time. Tilting hips, rolling up into the bridge position. Just pause at the top, soften into the back of your neck and head, and then work your way through your spine. And just consciously, deliberately placing each vertebra, and then releasing right here. Now bringing both hands up to the sky, turn the palms of your hands to face each other, and start to scissor the arms. And for those of you that have been coming to the classes, I think you pretty much know that this is one of the standard movements that I'll do in all my sessions. Because as simple as it is, it's just the most amazing way to almost lubricate the shoulders, to find that coordination between the right and left sides of the bodies, and then to start to feel the glide of the scapula on the back of your body. So this is the best way to start to take any strain or workload away from the neck. Let's just take one more. Bring both your hands all the way up, and then turn your hands and placing them down beside you. Now I'm going to teach you a new one today. It's quite a strong stretch for the shoulder. So move your left hand a little bit away from you. You're going to roll onto your left side, and you're going to now take your right hand and put it in your lower back with the palm of your hand facing outwards. Now if you're more flexible than that, start to wiggle your hand up. So you're almost trying to aim it between the shoulder blades. Don't force it. And then start to roll onto your back again. So your right hand will be pinned underneath your body. You're going to see if you can let your right elbow rest onto the ground. Make any adjustments to your head position. Can you feel that it's a really strong internal rotation stretch at the shoulder? Put your left hand onto your lower belly, and then just pause here and close your eyes and bring yourself back to your breathing. And with each inhale and exhale, start to notice how you can almost give your body weight to the ground. Notice how there's a gentle surrender of those muscles in the shoulder to the stretch without forcing. And at any point, if it feels like it's too much, maybe you just need to wiggle your hand a little lower towards your pelvis. Just pay attention to how it feels. And then bringing your left hand onto the floor again, a little bit away from you. Open your eyes if they're closed, and take your time as once again you roll onto your left side, slide your hand down, and then roll onto your back again, and now your right hand comes onto the floor a little away from you. Roll onto your right side, put your left hand into your lower back, and remember that the palm is facing outwards. And then decide if you can take your hand higher up. You're aiming it between your shoulder blades. And then roll onto your back again. So now you're going to be lying on that hand. And then settle yourself, make any adjustments that you need. And your right hand goes onto your lower belly. Close your eyes. And take yourself to your breathing. And it's so interesting to notice the difference between the two sides of our bodies. I don't know about you guys, but I could barely place my right hand between my shoulder blades. It was pretty low on my back. My left hand is very happy higher up there. It feels very different. So you just have to observe. You don't have to change it. You don't have to force it. Just notice. And let your body weight start to melt into the floor. Use your inhale and your exhale to facilitate the release, the stretch. And then opening eyes, bringing your right hand a little bit out to the side. Roll onto your right side, take your time, and then slip your left hand out, bringing your hands beside you, and now bring your hands a little closer to your body again. Knees bent, we're going back up into our pelvic curl. On your breath, little tilt of the hips, rolling up into your bridge, and do you now notice a difference in your movement now that you've softened your upper body and your shoulders? And then ripple through the spine again. So by releasing that rotator cuff and shoulder, hopefully we've opened it up across the collarbones and the thoracic spine, rolling up into your bridge again. Pause here for a moment, take a breath in. And then exhale, down through the spine you come. And release. Taking just one more time, tilting the hips, rolling up into the bridge position. Lovely squeeze into the gluteals. And then exhale, move down through the spine and just take your time, deliberately placing yourself to the ground so you have control over your body and releasing at the bottom. Beautiful. Roll onto your right side, and you're going to just place either a cushion or your arm underneath your head as a pillow. And you're going to have both your knees just slightly bent, placing your hand onto the shelf of your hip. And we're going to do a little bit of salsa here. So your hips are going to start to move up and down. So we're doing a little bit of a shortening of the top oblique and then a lengthening of the top oblique. And you can also bring your awareness to the underside, where you're doing the same shortening and lengthening on the bottom oblique. And allow your hips to move with it. And now bring yourself just into a centered place so you have equal length on both waists. Take your top leg, stretch it out long, flex your top foot, and you're pushing out through the heel of the foot. Start lifting your leg up, tightening your bottom waist so nothing moves, and then lower your leg down again with control. And again, lifting the leg up, feel how the gluteus medius is working, and as you come down, that same muscle is working, it just happens to be lengthening at the same time. Up you come, tighten the underneath oblique, and releasing it down. And guys, remember, if you're taking any strain or pain around your neck, then maybe you need to turn the tip of your nose down to the floor, or maybe you need to find some pressure points with your fingers and give yourself a little bit of a squeeze on that pressure point. And release it down. Now bring your leg up halfway so it's just in line with your pelvis. Start to hinge the leg forward, so you're shortening the front of the hip, but you're not allowed to tuck the pelvis. And then start taking the leg back again, and maybe you can take your leg a little bit behind you so you're squeezing your bum, but you're not allowed to arch your back. And now we're going to hinge the leg forward, and we're going to hinge the leg back with control. You feel how much the abs have to work here. So yes, you're moving from the hip joint, but so much of the workload is into your center. 2 more times, breathe with it. See if you can keep the height of your foot at the same height as your hip. 1 more time. And bringing your leg back, see if you can take your leg a little bit behind your body without arching the back. And now you're going to go into external rotation of the hip and internal rotation of the hip. External, your toes are going to point up to the sky. Internal, your toes are going to point down to the floor. But as you do this rolling action at the hip sockets, you're trying to keep your pelvis and your lumbar spine still. You're isolating the movement at the hip joints. 1 more time. Point your toes up and pause here. Let's do 8 little pulses up to the sky. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, lower abs, 3, obliques, 2, don't throw it, control it, 1, and release it in, and giving your tushies just a little bit of a rub. Nice. Bring your knees up a little higher, sitting in a chair. Cradle the back of your neck. Left arm reaches forward. Let's go into 1 thoracic rotation. Lift your arm, lift your head, and then open up across the heart, taking the arm back. And then if you want to, you can slide your hips and your knees back. But if there's any strain or pain in the back, when you do that, then rather stabilize and maybe hug your knees a little tighter towards your chest. Stay there, getting the stretch across the front of the chest and the shoulder. Take a breath in, and then exhale, and coming all the way up and over towards the front. Now, exactly as you are, flip onto your stomachs. So, you're going to have your legs extended. I want you to put your right hand underneath your forehead. Bend your left knee. If you need a strap or a towel to grab onto your foot, you can feel free to grab one. But reach back. So I'll get one for you, Jules. You can grab it there. Okay, fantastic. Perfect. Otherwise, this one there. That's great. So you just want to go into a little bit of a posterior tilt. Don't force your knee anywhere it doesn't want to go. And we're going to do something called a PNF stretch. So anchor your pelvis, hold onto your foot, and on your breath, Just gently push your foot away from your bum. So you're pushing into your hand, but hold on so that nothing actually moves, and then release. And can you notice how the stretch comes a little deeper? Take another breath in, anchor the pelvis, and it is a gentle pushing of the foot away from your pelvis. And release, let it come in a little tighter. One more time, take a breath. Exhale, and it's a little bit of a squeeze of the foot back into the hand, and a little release, and then stretch your legs out long. Just overlap one hand on top of the other, and just rock your hips from side to side. Now, we're not going to do the stretch yet on the other side. I want you now to turn onto your left side. I'm going to flip around so that I'm facing the camera still. You're going to now lie on your left side, knees a little bit bent. Make a pillow or put something under your head, and then place your hand onto the shelf of your hip, and let's do a little bit of salsa hips. So again, it's that little bit of mobilization of the lumbar spine, and it shouldn't feel like it hurts, eh? So if it's hurting, then maybe you need to make it a bit smaller. But start to feel the shortening and the lengthening of the top oblique and the shortening and the lengthening of the underneath oblique. Just a few more. And then center yourself so that you have equal distance on both sides. Taking your top leg, stretch it out long. Flex your foot, pushing out through the heel. And then lift your leg up a little bit and lower the leg down. Don't let it rest though, just hover. And again, lifting the leg up, tighten the underneath waist and lower down. So we're keeping stable through the pelvis and through the lumbar spine and allowing the leg to move from the hip socket. So remember, we've been working on this, so you should be feeling those little creases in your pants to know that you're working from the right place. Taking just a few more, contracting the muscle on the way up, and then we're still working the muscle on the way down as it lengthens. So that's the control movement here. Let's take two more, lifting the leg up. And now on this next one, just bring your leg up in line with your hip. Start to hinge the leg forward without tucking the pelvis, and then hinge the leg backwards. See if you can take your leg a little bit behind you without losing your balance and without arching the spine. Hinge forward, using the hip flexors, taking the leg back, using glute max and the upper part of your hamstrings here. Those are called the hip extensors. Gently moving the leg forwards and backwards with control. Feel the load in the abs. This has to work quite hard to support that movement of the leg. One more time. Bring your leg back, and if possible, take it a little bit behind you, and then let's go external hip rotation, internal hip rotation. So remember, just moving from the ball and socket joint, that is the hip. And with that rolling action at the hip, you're going to feel the knee and the toe change direction here. Keep the stability through your pelvis and lumbar spine. Keep lengthening up through the crown of your head. Let's do one more time each way. Now point your toes up, stay there, and 8 little lifts. Feel the external rotation, which means we're going to be targeting the gluteus maximus a little bit more as well. Almost there. And releasing all the way down. Nicely done, guys. Give it a little bit of a rub. All right, bring your knees up a little higher. So we're going to be sitting in a chair. Right hand reaches forward. Lift your arm, look up, And then open up across the chest as we come into thoracic rotation. Oh my goodness. Such an amazing stretch on the right side of the chest and the arm. And remember, you can slide the knees if you need to a little bit, or you can bring the knees up a little higher to your chest to support yourself. Take a breath in and out. And then exhale, lifting your arm and bringing the arm all the way to the front. Flip onto your stomachs. Now you're going to put your left hand underneath your head, bend the right knee, reach back, use a strap if you need to. Get your shoulders and your hips level, do a little bit of a squeeze with the bum, and we're doing the P and F stretch again. So on your breath out, start to gently push your foot back into your hand. So you can feel almost like a contraction of the thigh muscle, and then let go. And just notice how your leg eases a bit more. Take a breath in. Exhale, just a little bit of a push back. And release. And just one more time, just a little bit of a push back into the hand, contracting that thigh muscle. And a little release. And then stretch your legs out, overlap one hand on top of the other. And just rock your hips gently from side to side. And then coming back to center. Now stay here and tuck your toes under. So your toes are actually connected to the ground, but your knees are bent and your thighs are resting on the ground. You need to do a little bit of a squeeze with the bum here to anchor your pelvis and to also feel that your lower abs are connected. On your breath out, lift your knees and thighs off the ground. Think of pushing your heels backwards to the floor. Now stay there. Have you still got the front of your pelvis on the ground? You need to anchor your pelvis and pubic bone to the floor as your thighs come up. And then release your knees and let them come down. So it's a very specific movement to the thigh. On your breath out, lifting your thighs up off the ground, squeezing the knees straight, and your pelvis is anchored to the floor, and releasing it down. One more time. And we go. Exhale. So it's actually creating a little bit of a length and opening along the front of the body here. And release it down. Relax your feet out and stay there. Now separate your hands, one hand on either side of your shoulders, elbows down. Do the same anchoring with the pelvis, and let's go into a baby cobra. So start lifting eye line and come up into a little baby cobra so that your heart is lifted, your bottom ribs are down. Do you still have that anchoring of the pubic bone to the floor? And then release the chest and down you come. Let's go again. We inhale to come up. So it's like you're inflating your lungs like balloons. And we exhale to come down again. We inhale to come up. We exhale to float down. One more time. Inhale, coming up. And exhale, releasing it down. Really nicely done. Now stay there. Tuck your toes under again like you did 2 seconds ago. Anchor the pelvis. As you come up into cobra, lift your knees and thighs. Inhale. Your pelvis is anchored. And exhale, everything comes down. Beautiful. And we go. Inhale. So this is opening the front of the body. And release. 2 more times. Do you notice that it's not about straining the back? It's about releasing the front. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale, release. Relax your toes. Point your elbows up and come up onto all fours. Just bring your knees underneath your hips, hands underneath your shoulders. Nice long spine. And we're just going to tuck the toes under once again and come into a 4-point hover. Breathing out as you bring your knees just up off the ground and just find the weight bearing on the hands and on the feet. And if you're feeling okay here, you can maybe challenge yourself by shifting your body weight forwards and backwards. So you're going to notice how much your core has to connect here. And you'll start to notice the joints of the body, the joints of the arms and the joints of the legs. Let's just take one more. Feel free to come down whenever you need to. Center yourself and hold it, and let both knees come down. Relax the feet out. Balance on your right hand. Reach the left hand to the side, and coming into a thread the needle. Getting that rotation of the upper back. Guys, remember that you always have a choice here. You can walk the right hand out. You can take your right hand into your back and around the other side of your hip, or you can just rest here and breathe. Stay here for just a few more seconds. And then press your right hand onto the floor. All the way up you come. Balance for a moment and bring the left hand in. Reach your right hand out to the side, threading the needle through. Give yourself padding wherever you need it, under your head or your knees, and then figure out what you're going to do with the left arm, if anything. Stay here, getting that rotation through the thoracic spine. And then bringing the left hand in, coming all the way as you extend the arm out and bring it back underneath you. So we're going to go into a little bit of a cross pattern here. So start by sliding the right leg back and then walking the left fingertips forward. Take a moment to level out the hips and the shoulders. Then lift the right arm and the leg and hold it here. And just notice that constant shift and readjustment of your hand and your shin on the floor. And by the way, if you wanted to challenge yourself, you could even close your eyes, right? Just notice that constant movement and activity in your abdominals. Open eyes and then bring the hand and the knee all the way in. Left leg extends back. Walking the right fingertips forward. Stay for a moment. And lifting the arm and the leg. Connecting into your center. And again, you can challenge yourself by closing your eyes. And bring your awareness to that adjustment. Notice how your breathing affects this, by the way. Open eyes and bring the hand and the knee all the way in. So today's little challenge, take your knees and feet a little wider than your hips. Take your hands a little wider than your shoulders. Start sliding the right leg back, but you've got a wide base. And then walk the left fingertips forward, wide base. And now pick up the arm and the leg. Do you notice how much more you have to connect your center? Maybe you'd like to close your eyes. Stay with your breath. Reach through the fingertips, reach through the toes, and bring the arm back in. Wide base. Left leg goes back. Right fingertips walk forward. And then as you bring the arm and the leg up with that wide base, notice that deeper connection to the core. How much more do you need those obliques muscles to help you? Bring the arm and the leg back in. Keep your knees wide, put your big toes together, and then sit back into your resting position. Get yourself nice and comfortable, and you guys know I like to bring my hands together in prayer, and then I place my hands behind my head, so it gives you a lovely stretch at the back of the arm. Take all the pressure off the fingertips. Staying here for just a few more seconds. Take a nice easy breath in, and then exhale, bringing the hands forward. Walk yourself all the way up again, and bring yourself into a 4-point position. So we're going to start with a gentle extension of the spine. So lift your tail, lift your heart, and lift your eye line. And then round your spine up towards the sky like a cat. Stay here for a moment. Let your hips come back towards your feet, just halfway. And then come up onto the tips of your fingers. Notice that beautiful connection to your core. Now you can slide your fingertips a little closer towards you, but you're going to come all the way up to lift your hands up towards the sky. So you actually have to activate your bum cheeks quite a bit. And then you're going to draw a big circle all the way around with your arms. And then you're going to reverse it. Take the arms back, bring them up. Now, round your spine and think of cascading like a waterfall, using your abdominals just until your fingertips touch, and then bring your hands flat, bringing yourself forward, and then lengthen your spine and go to extension. Everyone okay? And we go round the spine like a cat. Sit your hips a little bit back and come up onto the tips of the fingers. Use your abdominals so you can come all the way up, using your bum cheeks to push your hips forward. Circle the arms back and around. The hands just come beside you. And now sweep the hands back behind you, all the way up towards the sky. And then we cascade like a waterfall. You've got to really use those abdominals here. Bringing your hands flat, bringing yourself forward, and moving to extension of the spine. And we go again. Round the spine. Sit a little bit back. Come onto the tips of the fingers. Using the core connection as you come up. Reaching up towards the sky. Open the arms wide. Open up through the chest. Bringing the arms all the way back. Reach up. And then from the crown of your head, letting your body just roll forward. Using abs, let your hips move back if they need to. Tips of the fingers touch. Flat hands, we come forward. And then we lengthen the spine. And on this one, just round the spine, stay here, tuck your toes under, and then lift your hips up and coming into your inverted V, your downward facing dog, and start to pedal the heels down towards the ground. Gentle pedaling. And then push both heels towards the floor. It doesn't matter if your heels touch and it doesn't matter if you're straight. Focus on connecting your hands and your feet to the ground. Let your breath suspend you in between. And on your next breath, bring yourself all the way down onto all fours. And then let the feet relax behind you. Make any adjustments you need to your position. And we're going to go into push-ups today. We've been practicing push-ups with one arm sitting sideways. Bring that experience to this. Glue your scapula to the back of your ribs. They're not allowed to move. You start small, bending the elbows tight to your body. What are your scapula doing? And then press yourself up again. As you hinge from the elbow, the rest of your body is going to follow, but you don't want to compensate through your spine or allowing your feet to lift. So just like we did when we were sitting sideways, we're now bringing that stability of the shoulder girdle and the rest of the body to the movement. Now, by the way, you can challenge yourself by coming forward over your hands, or you can make it easier for yourself if you allow your hips to go back. To decide what you need to do, you've only got one more, I promise. One more. And release. Take the knees apart, big toes together, sit back again, and now palms of the hands together in prayer. Bend the elbows, and now you get that wonderful stretch for the triceps that have just been working. Take a moment to breathe. Just really appreciating this moment of rest. Bringing your hands all the way out in front of you. And once again, just pull yourself up onto all fours, but this time step your right knee in front. I'm turning sideways to face you, and come into that antler position or mermaid position. Give yourself any kind of support underneath your pelvis, make any adjustments to your leg position so it feels okay for you. And we're just going to do that little seaweed from side to side. Let your body travel with you. And there's no right or wrong here, okay? It doesn't matter how big or small you go. It doesn't matter if your hips are shifting with you. This is just about releasing. One more. And this time, coming all the way up into a seated position. Now you're going to unfold your left leg out towards the side, or your right leg, sorry. So now you're going to have both legs right here. And just bring your hands once again, just in front of you. You don't have to go too deep into it. And if you've got knee issues, like a cushion underneath your thigh here. Start to move your hand onto the knee or the shin of the leg that's extended and curl the toes back. And then see now if you can start to lift the other arm up and look up underneath it. And then release yourself back down, placing the fingertips. And again, a little bit of a lift. And a little bit of a release. One more time, a little bit of a lift. So it's a more intense stretch. And a little bit of a release. Bring both hands to the front. See if you can maybe go a little bit deeper to the stretch. And then come all the way up. Switch legs around. So now you're going to be sitting with your other leg in the front. Okay, if you're doing a mirror image of me, you're now going to have your left leg in the front. If you're doing the same as me, it's now the right leg. Doesn't matter. And we're just going to go side to side. A little bit of a mermaid action. Swaying side to side. Last one. And come all the way up. Now extend the back leg all the way out. So if you're doing the same as me, it's now going to be your left leg out, or you're going to do opposition. Just make sure you've got the other side. That's it. You'll feel immediately, yeah, that's it. Now, take your Let them rest in front of you. You don't have to force it. Settle there for a moment, and then just walk your hand to hold on to either the shin arm, and then your opposite arm lifts up, and you look up towards the sky, and then release and come down. Breathe with it. Lift up. That's it. And release. And we're going to do just one more time. Nice. Lift up and release. Now put both hands on the floor in front of you and just notice if you're able to go a little bit deeper. Starting to release those side lines, those spiral lines. Take a breath and then roll back up into sitting and lifting nice and tall. You're going to bend both your knees and come and sit at the front of your mat. Now, you do want to have a little bit of a pillow or a cushion handy for yourself in a second. Arms reaching out in front of you. Exhale. Let's go all the way down onto our backs. All the way down. Using abs for that little bit of control. And just let your hands float up towards the sky for a moment. Bring one knee up to tabletop, finding stability. Bring the other knee up to join, finding stability, and you glue your legs together. Interlock the fingers, hands go underneath your head. On your breath, chest lift, coming forward. And releasing back. Using your breath to draw yourself up and release. Taking two more, can you bring your awareness to the back of your body, releasing? Take it down. One more time. Come to chest lift and hold it here. Lightly tap the right toes to the floor and then switch legs in the air. Switch legs. 4 more. Both legs up. Glue them together and lower head and shoulders down. Bring your hands out to the side like a Boeing 747. And let's start taking both knees over towards the right. So your left hip comes up. How far can you go? Control. And then exhale to pull back to the center. Take your knees to the left. Keep your right arm and shoulder down. Have control of the movement. And then your abdominals draw you back to the center. Keep going from side to side at your own pace. Make sure that your lower back feels good with this. Maybe you need to contain the movement a little bit. One more time. Come back to the center. Place one foot down. Place the other foot down with your knees bent. Now, you're going to lift your hips up. It doesn't matter how you come up. And you're going to slide that pillow underneath your pelvis. If it's really flat, fold the pillow in half so you've got extra padding. Placing it underneath your pelvis. And then let yourself settle. So it's not under your lower back. It's a little bit lower down around the sacrum. Now do whatever feels good for your legs. I like to take my feet wide apart and then drop my knees together. You can do anything that feels good for you. And then I like to take my arms with the elbows bent just beside me and then close eyes. If you want to put your hands on your lower belly, you're welcome to put your hands down. And we're just allowing ourselves to soften into the sacrum and into the lower back. find a place where you don't have to hold yourself at all. Staying here for just a few more breaths. No, it's all good. And then taking one more breath in and out, allowing your eyes to open if they're closed. Slowly bringing your knees and your feet back to a parallel position. Bringing your hands down, allowing your hips to lift up. Slide your cushion out to the side. And then bring yourself all the way to the ground, and then just stay here for a moment and notice how your body feels after you've given yourself that moment of rest around the sacrum. And we're going to do 3 pelvic curls. Take a breath. Exhale, a little tilt of the hips, rolling up, and just notice maybe if there's a difference in how your lower back is moving. And then roll down through the spine. Releasing at the bottom. And we're just going to do 2 more. And you might notice what I've done with you today is this pelvic curl exercise. And then we've done different releases in between, like releases for the neck and shoulders, for the rotator cuff. Now we've done releases for the sacrum and the lower back. And it's just an opportunity to notice the effect. And then gently coming all the way back down. Release here for a moment. Hug one knee to your chest. Bring the other knee into join. Tuck yourself into a tight little ball shape. Slip your hands just behind your thighs, and then using the momentum of your feet kicking, start rolling like a ball on your mat. Keep your chin tucked in, and then one more time, coming up so that you can actually balance here, and placing your feet all the way down. Make your way up into a standing position. Just giving yourself a little bit of space. Take a look down at your feet, big toes level. Let your arms and your shoulders relax beside you and closing eyes. And then maybe as you stand there with your eyes closed, just draw some little circles with your body in space. So you're shifting your body weight from the front to the side, to the back, to the other side. You can keep it quite small. And then change directions and draw little circles the other way. And then come to stand evenly on both your feet. Become aware of your feet rooting you as your head floats upwards. Become aware of your breath moving through your body. Feel those muscles around your ribs, those intercostals. Feeling your diaphragm. And the connection and the release as you breathe in your lower back. And today, let's try to finish our last roll down with eyes closed. If it feels too wobbly, then feel free to open your eyes. When you're ready, you're going to nod your chin and roll forward through your spine, just feeling the movements of your joints. With your eyes closed, it's going to give you a completely different sensation and awareness of your body. And just allow yourself to come as low to the floor as it feels comfortable for you. Pause at the bottom. Take a breath in. And then exhale as you come up slowly. Feeling the muscles that move your bones, feeling the muscles that stabilize your joints. Coming all the way up again, perhaps still with your eyes closed. And then take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh. Open your eyes, blinking gently. And then give your hands and wrists a little shake. Feet and knees a little shake. Thanks, Jules. Day 21, can you believe it? That's awesome.
I think I really missed about 4, maybe.
No, I think maybe 4. Awesome, guys. Let me turn the sound on. Great.
Thank you, Ren.
You're so welcome.
That was a really good session.
Good one, hey.
The whole
I think
it's
kind of what I needed today as well.
Whew.
All right, let's unmute everyone.